Hi everyone, it's Desiree. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Thanks so much for joining me for another Facebook Live. As always, let us know where you're watching from. We always like to hear from our viewers around the US and around the world. And if this is your first time joining us, let us know that as well. What we do is take a different project off Wilton.com each week and break it down so that you can make it yourself. If you're not already following us on Facebook, make sure to give us a like. That way you're always notified when we're on. Once in a while, we do some special Facebook Live episodes that aren't on Tuesdays, so this way you'll be guaranteed to never miss a Wilton Facebook Live. Today, we are getting into the Halloween spirit, and I'm going to show you two different types of Halloween cupcakes that you can make. These are great for if you're hosting a Halloween party this weekend or next weekend, something fun that you can take with you to work or just give to friends and family if you're in the mood for some spooky baking. So I'm going to start off showing you how to make these candy melts toppers because we're going to make some night sky cupcakes. And as I mentioned, these stars and these moons, crescent moons here, they were actually piped with Candy Melts candy. So before I get to that, I want to share a hack of mine that I actually made up at home one day. I love my melting pot. This is, I think, one of the best ways to melt candy melts because you can really get it to the correct temperature. If you're not familiar with them, if you're not familiar with the melting pot, it actually has two heat settings. So the highest one is our melting setting, and then after your candy melts are about 90% melted, you want to switch that to warm so that they don't get overheated and they just keep a nice consistency. One day when I was working on a project, I think it was when I was making this leaf birthday cake for my mom and using some different candy melts, I was like, oh, this is a good way to keep my melted candy warm, especially since I'm working with multiple colors. So that is one recommendation I will give to you. I will say keep an eye on it. You certainly don't want to leave this plugged in and then go walk away for 2 hours, and that wouldn't be good. But I find that it keeps them at just the right temperature I need so that they're melted, and it's another awesome way to use your melting pot. One other thing I'll call out just so I'm looking at it, again, if you're not familiar with the melting pot, it has this silicone insert, and the thing I love about it is when you're done with your project, just stick this whole thing in the refrigerator, let your remaining candy melts harden, and then you can just pop them out and put them in an airtight bag, and then you can melt down your candy melts again for a future project. So lots of uses in this handy little guy. I wanted to make sure to call that out for you. I'm going to start off with the yellow here, and I'm actually just going to freehand pipe some of these stars like you see here. I'm going to start off by just cutting a little bit off the bag.
Desiree, we have several first-time viewers tuning in from Louisiana and New Jersey.
Awesome. I hear we have several first-time viewers tuning in from Louisiana and New Jersey. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Okay, so I'm just piping my candy melts slowly, and I'm just freehand drawing these stars. You could also print a template if you want.
Stephanie wants to know how you can fix thick candy melts.
Good question. So Stephanie asked, how can you fix thick candy melts? So if you find that your candy melts are too thick, what you can do is take some of our Easy Thin product. Hold on, I'm talking at the same time here and I'm forgetting how to make a star. Let's do that again. I'm gonna start this way. Okay, there we go. So you can take some of our Easy Thin product and just do a little bit at a time and stir that in until you see that it's reached the consistency that you'd like. Or if you don't have that on hand and you're really in a pinch, you can put a bit of vegetable shortening in there too, and that would work. So after you've piped these, you can thin them out just a little bit by gently tapping your board. Of course, I don't want to send these other ones I did earlier flying. I'll try to even those out, but I don't want to be too rough with it, but you get the idea. But you can kind of see, even in these ones that we did before, they have a little bit of imperfection of them. We really like that look. It just adds some nice texture to what we're doing. I'll also go ahead and just pipe a crescent moon.
Mary Beth would like to know what color candy melts you're using.
So today we're working with yellow, orange, and our bright white candy melts. If you didn't know, we actually have two different versions of white candy melts. So that's just regular white and then the bright white. Like I said, that's what I'm working with. All of these color melts have a vanilla flavor to them. If you've never worked with candy melts before, they're a confectionery coating. They have a slight vanilla flavor, except for, of course, our light cocoa and dark cocoa candy melts, which, as you may guess, taste like chocolate. But remember, candy melts are not actual chocolate. They just look and taste and act a lot like it. But it's much easier to work with because you don't have to get things to a very specific temperature like you do when you're working with pure chocolate, which is a process called tempering. Okay, so there's my free-handed crescent moon. Again, you get the idea. Just wanted to show you how to do this. Again, if you would feel more comfortable following a template, you could always put, and not even for this project, for any candy melts project, you can always put a template under a piece of wax paper, which I have here on a board, and just trace that along. And it's really a handy way to make different toppers for cakes and cupcakes and really customize anything you want.
Desiree, did you use a tip for the candy melts?
I did not use a tip for these candy melts. Again, that's something you could do if you would prefer. Our decorating room honestly rarely uses a tip when it comes to doing things like this. We just cut the bag. They just cut the bag. I'm not officially in the decorating room. But yeah, you can if you want. I personally don't like to because cleaning candy melts out of metal tips is annoying, to be quite honest, for me. So I just like to do it this way. But you can use a tip if you feel like it'll be neater. So now we're going to pipe some black icing onto our cupcakes. And this is a popular question we get this time of year is, how can I get really black icing? It can be a really hard color to achieve. So my first suggestion to you, because I love shortcuts, I love time savers for sure, you can pick up a pouch of our black decorating icing. This is really comes in handy if you just need a little bit. Like here, we're just going to put a light coating on top of our cupcakes and it's going to have a really great dark black color. Or if you just need to do some accents like eyes or stripes or monster hair, I'm trying to stay with the Halloween theme, this really comes in handy. However, if you are needing a larger batch of icing or you prefer to make your own, which I completely understand, there are some tips that I have for you. And actually, if you go to wilton.com and type in black icing in the search bar, you'll find a helpful blog post we published last month about how to make black icing, and it talks about getting some different shades as well if you're looking to do maybe a dark gray. But one thing I can recommend is if you have the time, make your icing like 1 to 2 days in advance and color it black as much as you can then, and then let it sit in the refrigerator because that color will actually darken and deepen over time. And then once you take it out, you can see how much more you need to add to it. Of course, the other shortcut we've shared a lot with you over the years is to use a chocolate icing because it's already a dark brown, so you're kind of already more than halfway there, and you won't need as much black gel color because it does take a lot to get the color that you're looking for. But again, I understand sometimes your cake may not call for chocolate, or maybe you're one of those people who doesn't like chocolate frosting. So those are some tips that I have for you. I just want to twist the tip of this off. I had to just use a paper towel there to get a better grip on it. But the other thing that's great about our decorator icing pouches is that they come with 2 tips. So we have a round tip here, and then there's a star tip underneath. Now we're actually just going to smooth out this icing once we pipe it on the cupcake, but I want to use the star because it's larger and it'll help me cover the surface of this more quickly. So I'm just going to go back and forth.
We have viewers tuning in from Switzerland, Ireland, and Portugal.
Hello to our viewers from Switzerland, Ireland, and Portugal. Thanks for joining us today. And if you're just tuning in, we're working on some Halloween cupcakes today. So I'm piping some black icing on this cupcake, and then I'm going to use a spatula to smooth it out.
Catherine says these look great.
Thank you. Glad you like them so far. And then we're going to put those cute candy melts, stars, and the moon on top of them. These are our night sky cupcakes that we're working on. And again, I'm just using an angled spatula to smooth this out. I want it to be relatively flat. I'll just wipe this on here. Normally what I would do, don't yell at me, I would have a clear bowl here and wipe off the excess and use that again so it doesn't go to waste, but I don't have one right now, so that's what I'm doing. But yes, don't waste if you can help it. Okay, so there is my spatula iced cupcake. And another thing I want to recommend is the buttercream can kind of crust over just a little bit after you've piped it, and I want these sprinkles to stick. Because these are also going to look like little tiny stars in our night sky cupcakes. So I'm just taking some of our white nonpareils and I'm sprinkling them on the cupcake first to make sure that they stick. This way I'm only losing a few of them. Still have some bouncing, but hey, that's the nature of sprinkles, right? Okay, looks good. So I'm going to remove, one thing I forgot to mention, after you've piped these, put this board in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. These are pretty small shapes, so it will not take long for your candy melts to set. But we, like I said, did these earlier today. One tip, these will pop off the wax paper really easily, but you can take your spatula underneath the wax paper and kind of slide it along. And you can already see they're sliding off and moving pretty easily. Doesn't take a lot of effort to lift those. Couldn't quite reach my orange though. Just go like that. Or you can gently take your spatula and just pop off really, really well. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple yellow stars.
Desiree, where can our viewers find more Halloween dessert ideas?
So like I mentioned, we are sharing some Halloween cupcakes today, and if you'd like to find more Halloween ideas, we have a whole bunch for you over on Wilton.com. Just go to the homepage and you'll see the banner on top for our Halloween ideas. Plenty of inspiration there, so no matter if you're looking to do cakes, cookies, cupcakes, other sweet treats, we have plenty of decorating inspiration for you. Okay, now I just need a moon.
What are you using as like the stars, the white ones?
All right, so there is our cupcake. Again, these little teeny tiny stars that you see here, those are just white nonpareils. So I put some of those sprinkles on there after I smooth iced the cupcake, just because that's when the icing will be the softest and really the wettest for the sprinkles to stick to it. After that, we put our candy melt stars and moon that we piped earlier. So you can do a bunch of these in advance. And again, just put them in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes to let them harden. And then you can take them off the wax paper, and then you have these really cute, perfect for Halloween, night sky cupcakes. Okay, don't go anywhere. I have one more project coming up for you. We're going to switch over to mini cupcakes now. These were regular size. So I love mini cupcakes because, they're like 1 or 2 bites. Hey, you can feel less guilty about your portions, right? Unless you have 10 of them. That's where they get you. But you can make a whole bunch of them all at one time, especially if you pick up the Mega Mini Muffin Pan that we have, which has 48 cavities. But if you just have a standard one, that's fine. You can get 24 out of them too. And these cute ghost icing decorations remain one of our most popular. We've had them out for a few years now. They're actually sold out on Wilton.com currently. Sorry about that, but good news is if you still click on the product, you can use our store locator that's on Wilton.com and find your favorite Wilton retailer near you and see who has these available. So for these, we're going to do something similar. Again, we want this to be a relatively easy project, but something that's still cute and impressive. We're going to smooth ice these just like we did the night sky cupcakes. If you're wondering how we got this great purple color, it's actually a mix of violet and pink gel icing color. So you just want to do that in equal amounts until you get your desired shade. And then just like we did with the other cupcakes here, I'm just going to pipe a little bit and then we're going to smooth that out. Just do 2 of these. Or another great idea for these too, if you'd like to use a decorating tip, you can use just a tip 1M to squeeze a big star on there. And you can also see that we colored our batter as well before we bake these cupcakes. So they're a great bright orange color. I love that purple has made its way into the Halloween color palette over the last several years. It just gives us something else to work with. And if you don't want to color black icing, this is a great alternative for you. Okay, so like I said, really easy. I'm just gonna spatula ice, and then all we have to do from here is place our beautiful ghost icing decorations with little candy corn. Do one more here. And it's a really cute little Halloween treat. Throw my other one here. Remember, if you joined us late and you missed the beginning and you'd like to see how any of this was done, you can always watch any of our Facebook Live videos. Just click on videos on the left side of our Facebook page and you'll be able to rewatch this as well as any other Facebook Live episodes you may have missed. But I hope this gives you some great inspiration for Halloween. And again, if you need more, just go to wilton.com, click on the Halloween banner that's on the very top of the page, and it'll take you to all sorts of projects, cakes, cupcakes, cookies, whatever it is your heart desires. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next Tuesday at our normal time of 2:30 Central. Bye!